Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2, where it's been far too long since I've been able to introduce the Zerg player in the red, who, for obvious reasons, we're not going to bother describing what side of the map he's on. It's Bly. And angrily sending his probes down and thinking that this strategy is anything but, we have the Protoss player, Nice. And this is your warning. If you're lactose intolerant, if you want to see the same 3-hatch versus Stargate Oracle game every single time without fail, well, this is your opportunity to turn off the video. Otherwise, once they're gone, it'd be awesome if you could like and subscribe. And Jimmy, what are we? 1,273 likes on this video, on this cast. And, well, we'll pull out another cheese platter. And I'll cast another series. And I'll probably do it anyways. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get a little bit better. Bly with a casual macro proxy hatch as he expanded behind. We're on the Team Liquid map contest maps. Brought to you by Monster Energy. So, a new stomping ground, which historically favors new, aggressive players. Well, not really new players, but in this case, Bly was proxy hatching Protoss, possibly even before dark. And is it worth it? I don't know. Emotionally, maybe. In terms of mathematics and whether or not the lost mining time and potential of that, boring. But so far, Nice has dealt with it with relative ease. The drone going to be the Zealot not fast enough to chase it down. Which is kind of curious, as the most advanced Protoss warrior decides I'm going to run around with some laser swords and try to chop things up, which is objectively cool, but has some clear weaknesses. Adepts working their way across the map, but Zerglings, Bly not one to let things fly, as just getting Zerg... Oh no. Oh no, the Stalker. The drone in the main drew the Stalker out of position. It's a disaster already. The Zerglings will get in, but Adepts on the other side, both sides getting some worker kills. The Adepts pinned up against the corner, Citizen's arrest. The Predator drones are able to take down one, do most of the damage to another. It looks like the Zerglings have not actually managed to pick off a probe yet. Their Zergling speed on the way. Adept tried to shade, but a few Slowlings will hunt it down. The Zerglings are chasing down the Stalker. Will be cleaned up before speed is done. And now there are 3 gates online. There's a little pervert pillar here. So Bly can take a look at what's happening at the natural. And yeah, sure, how about double Stargate? Gotta catch up on your lost Stargate time here. So Nice is opting for whatever amount of Adepts he was able to put together into double Star. The Overlord quite conspicuously getting pushed out of the way here. But the Adepts headed across, trying to catch Bly, who only has 37 drones. 1, keep him honest, and 2, keep scouting, as you really don't want to let him go about his business back at his base. Because it's going to become your business sooner rather than later. The best way to scout someone is, of course, to try to punch them in the face and see how they respond. And that's what the Adepts are doing. Well, more of a tweak of the ear, but double Phoenix. Is that an extractor trick out of Bly? No? I guess he just didn't want that much. He's just making a bunch of Zerglings here. Only 35 drones. Adding a couple more, but the Phoenixes should be a capable response. Well, not to the Zerglings. Lifting Zerglings is like trying to smash a nail in with a steamroller. But a jackhammer. But like the opposite. Moving on. Phoenix, 2 Phoenixes and 2 Adepts in production simultaneously. Still plenty of Zerglings threatening. It is a curious situation since he didn't go for Oracles. That means the Zerglings are a real threat to the non-glaive Adepts. But the Adepts are a surprising threat to the Queens. And the Zerglings will come back to defend. Shades away, gets most of the Adepts out, if not all. The Phoenixes are building up to the point where they can lift the Queens and take them out in a single lift. and working on air weapons as well. But Bly has gone past the impressive 50 drone count. Not something we always see from him, but denoting this as an extreme macro game. 5 Phoenixes show up. The Overlord. Wings are headed back. There's not much opportunity to do damage at the natural. The Queens will gather and try to contest this. More Phoenixes being built. He's not stopping the production. Queen's getting picked off in the main. Drones picked up. And Bly doesn't really have a response here. The only weakness of Queens is, not Queens, but the Phoenixes that can't lift buildings and end the game. Bly actually decides to pause the game. At least temporarily. Of course, we don't wait for anyone. We do it live from replay here, but an interesting timing. It was curious. He wasn't really responding there. But the Queen Moot gathers and will continue to run around, as there's no really other options. You just got to kind of absorb the damage. And it looks like Nice is going to get essentially everything he could out of the Phoenixes. Every point of energy being used to lift drones. Or maybe just some of the Queens. There's Zerglings waiting outside. There's no charge, no glaives, just a bunch of Adepts and Zealots here. But Nice does not have a third base. So kind of locked in and starting to mine out of the main. Just a whole bunch of gateway units. And now double Robo. The Zerglings, well, yep, those are still Zealots and Adepts. Oh. Brenda, you're flying again! Not like this! I didn't want it like this. Queens picked off. Only 2 so far. 2 Phoenixes taken out. So now at some point we're going to have to fight on the ground. The Phoenixes are not going to end the game on their own. They haven't done nearly enough damage for that. But at the same time, Bly hasn't really been able to do anything since the early Zerglings on the other side. 11 Phoenixes and counting. He just keeps going, not willing to give up the air superiority. But Banelings are in production. No Baneling speed. Roach speed is about to complete. But Nice, I think, is figuring it out here. Going to spot the Banelings, immediately turns towards them. Will likely be able to take out the majority. The Banelings know their lives are short, and possibly shorter than they expected. But working their way in, still closing the distance, might kill some of these Adepts. The Banelings still do damage on the ground. The acid rains down. So you gotta be a little careful, which I think Nice they're not really realizing. But the third Nexus is completed now. We only have a single upgrade in the game, which is +1 air weapons for Protoss. Burrow move. Gotta keep close watch on the production tab with these two. Especially Bly, but Nice also a bit of a creative player himself. As you can already see, with 11 Phoenixes here, fighting against the lowest tech Zerg. Immortal to hold the door. But the Roaches will just bash through it. But the Force Fields with no Ravagers. Still, though, the Immortals are kind of just dying because there's way too many Roaches. Phoenixes will come back to pick up some of those Roaches. Somewhat awkwardly, not much of the ground. There are Probes? There are Probes here now? I don't, oh, Banelings! Everybody! Come on! Oh, that Disruptor! More Roaches! And Nice will hold. The field runs red with the blood of Zerg. Though, definitely some Protoss, whatever they have in there as well, but Bly has lost twice as many minerals, but about the same amount of gas, which isn't much on either side. Those 4 shield batteries not finding much use. A gold base has been found and completed. Burrow move is done for the, well, Burrow is done and now tunneling claws. Does he have any suspicions? Has he, the observer spotted it? Oh, that's an inconvenient time. He just goes for, yeah, that's not gonna happen. Phoenix is coming back yet again. There and back again. Waddling in with the baits. Watch out, what? Unfortunately for Bly, not paying attention there. And that's definitely fortunate for Nice. As he definitely could have, don't say definitely over and over. You get it, you could just say the words. Don't have to add that. Sorry. This game has been, 11 minutes in, and for the first time, we're comfortably over 100 supply. Bly up to 70 drones, possibly a personal best. And now, Hydra's on the way, and now this is the true sign of desperation. Evolution chambers. He's going to get actual upgrades. Phoenixes continue to waltz through most of the area. We'll see if the gold base is spotted. Phoenixes will lift up plenty of drones. 30 drones have been lifted and knocked down thus far. I guess the Adepts got some of them. Roaches working their way by. Disruptor, a dangerous tool on defense. Wow. He can see them, but it still takes a surprise. Okay. Well, that'll do it. Oh my god. See ya. Meanwhile, Roach Hydra outside the natural. And Nice is still on 3 base against a 5 base Bly. Though not quite mining from all of them. And one of those is gold, so Bly actually with quite an economy here. The creep spread looking good. Yeah, the map in general looking amazing. No infestation pit, but speed upgrades for Hydras. We got +1 melee and +1 ranged attack for Bly. Is that a hard wall? That's one way to stop brood roaches. Meanwhile, Colossi on the field. Is there an infestation pit? No. Hydras obliterate a couple stalkers and will immediately retreat Scooby-Doo style from the disruptor shot. Phoenix is still going. Still has 10 of them. And we've kind of moved... No, not the banelings into the rocks! Oh my god. Well, he really had to get the job done, alright? If it takes a couple banelings to do it, so be it. Disruptor in the wall. Burrow move roaches actually spot the phoenixes there. That's a changeling in the center, but not really going... Just hanging out. Nope, that's still a wall. Those roaches not able to get through. Nice. Infestation pit on the way as Bly begrudgingly heads toward... Is that... Ah yes, reptile crate. In a gold base. I'm not sure what's in the gold base. 1 gold mineral can't be mined. Oh. Crank, former pro player, of course, noticed. Looks like there's actually... No. It's a DLC, all right? You gotta mine enough, and then you can unlock it. But that's also probably one of those things that, after playing the map a bit, is a bug fix. But right now, it's keeping the bugs fixed on a slightly lower economy. So that's something we can all get behind. Well, there's the power defense wave of force fields here. Colossi, extended thermal lance is done. More banelings just crashing into whatever they can find. Thankfully not the rocks this time. And there is so much splash damage here. A tsunami of splash damage to deal with Bly. Probes pulled off the line. They just kind of die incidentally. I'm not sure if that was intentional. But between Storms and Colossi, the Hydras and Lings having a tough time. The Phoenixes, one picked off. Another one. And just kind of wander into the main with the Spore Crawlers. Who would have expected those to be here? But the Overlords are vulnerable. The Overlords have to hang out somewhere. They can't burrow, much to their dismay. Those angry tentacle balloons. It's the laziest changeling. Just been hanging out. Hasn't even bothered to try to scout. Ultralisk Cavern now on the way. Still, it's one of those games that could end at any time, but probably won't. Which is, it sounds dumb, and it is kind of dumb, but they both have armies that could easily win a fight. But neither has it really been able to wield them in a way that would find that fight. More Phoenix is going to be picked up. Zerglings managed to run by into the absolute labyrinth of shield batteries and cannons, fighting literally the hardest possible counter to Hydras. Heads up, Bly loses his supply lead with flying colors, has dipped from like 190 to 90. Oh my god. Took a plunge off a cliff there. But 11 Ultras in production to save the day. Will they save the day? They don't have chitinous plating. They don't have speed. The queens are being lifted, which means transfuse is unlikely. But 11 Ultras simultaneously popping out. Disruptor shot clips the queen on the end of it. I don't know, Kev. We'll see. Those 3 Immortals are going to do a lot of heavy lifting. Just like the Phoenixes can't. The Ultras pop out, but they're in quite a choke point. More Ultras coming from the main. The Ultras, the Immortals are still blasting, but that's still a lot of Ultras. The Banelings coming in, Disruptor shot, point blank range. Immortals are pretty good. Well, wait a second. The Ultras, the stock Ultralisks here. No premium DLC, no chitinous plating, no anabolic synth. Okay, Ultra speed. Just stock Ultralisk getting the job done. And now the Phoenixes, once again, are the only units capable of doing anything on the field. And it's mostly looking menacingly at this roach. So somehow, Bly has turned the supply lead yet again and swung all the way back into the lead. And has maintained it up. He's had the income lead effectively for the last 10 plus minutes. 5 more Ultras on the way. 2 Immortals at a time, which is not enough at this rate. Adrenal glands is done. Bly not even bother. Well, the Immortals hit so hard, the chitinous plating doesn't really do that much. Now, it's an excuse, I think some players would tell you, but like, 16 more probes died. Oh my, gruesome. And, wow, I really thought Bly had thrown the game. And I bet Nice was in that same boat. And when that boat got boarded by a dozen Ultras and started to sink under their weight, I'm sure he was wondering where he had gone wrong. But we're still here. Neither player able to get anywhere close to maxing out. The minerals are drying up. The main base is gone, pretty much for both sides. There's only a few hundred left for Bly. Remember, he went for a proxy hatch, so his gas was significantly later. The Ultras on their own. Nice is building the hardest of counters. He's still, like, the cannon. Papers, papers, please! Well, the roaches get behind the mineral line. Bly, clearly, he's building 2 investors. The upgrades are all over the place. +2 attack. Ranged and melee for Bly, that's it. So they're not really all over the place. They're barely anywhere at all. But Immortal, Archon, and Storm. He has the counter. Roach picked up and knocked down quickly. By re-expanding to the center. At this point, there's really only one base to hammer with these units. A worker count 57 to 48. We're back in mild worker temperatures. Fahrenheit, of course. But oh no! The only fight the Ultras could win! Right, catching the Immortals, but they're... Oh my god, Immortals counter Ultras so incredibly hard. Oh my gosh. It was the worst possible fight for Nice. And that means he only wins it by a bit, instead of by... And with the Zerglings coming out, there's only 1 Archon left. Gets on top of the Immortals. The Zerglings will help rip them apart. Bly now does not have the money to just refill that army again. Nice is down to 100 supply. They keep battering each other further and further down in supply count. And I don't think either player is particularly confident in assessing their opponent's position. as so many units have been lost so quickly. Like, Nice has to be thinking, that's it, right? That's it, right? But Bly still has been he's finally unlocked the DLC patch as well. Alright, comes in handy at this point. There are infestors on the way. Does he have Neural Parasite? No. So he's stuck with Fungal here. The Immortals. There are 5 Immortals. Which is not quite enough to outright cause these Ultras to implode, but it's damn close. And now he's got 5 Infestors and realizing he needs Neural Parasite. I think Nice can't know he doesn't have Neural Parasite. Okay, that's a whole neural mind game itself, but unfortunately for Nice, he doesn't have the information we have, which is Bly is hoping that Nice's units will save him, because all he has left are these Infestors. So once again, Nice is in a winning position, but in a massive, just worthy of a top 40 pop hit, massive butt. If he gets the Neural Parasites on, say, 3 Archons and 2 Immortals, then suddenly we have a game again. This could turn, but it requires the Protoss units to do so at this stage. As Nice has the economy, he's finally taking these bases. There's a Broodling. I had another one, but the creep spread is essentially gone. The Brood Infestors. There are 2 observers around, one with the army, but if it's not ahead of the army scouting the Infestors, then and the Overseer could be taken out. Does he Neural Parasite? How many Infestors? There are 8 of them. Alright. Well, he's got 1 shot. I keep saying that. He has more than 1 shot, somehow. He keeps finding more ammo. But it's getting almost too big to fail. Even if Nice gets knurled here, it might be too much. Are the Infestors spotted? They are. He grabs 1 Immortal. He grabs an Archon. Here come the Storms. But the Immortals from the high ground. Immortals on both sides. He's trying to target down the Infestors. I think there's just too much. And Bly is forced to tap out of game 1 after 21 Ultralisks. And, you know, pretty much everything else he could come up with. But we're just getting started. Nice is able to hold it together, but only just, as Bly just has that effect. He drags you into this crazy scenario and then beats you with experience. But Nice is, I mean, he's trained against Has. The ultimate in Protoss, the ultimate Protoss cheese connoisseur. Oh my. We start. This map can make wall. Okay, so Nice as a Taiwanese player. English, probably not his first choice to try to get the architectural layout. And that does kind of tell you how much he's played this map or even looked at it before. We're on Anomaly Found. These rocks were not damaged before. They start damaged, I believe. Just to make it a little easier to take down, but still have a wall early. So, interesting mechanic there. There's also a rich Vespine base down the center, and some healing shrines, which I think have air blockers, but I'm not 100%, which heal units rather quickly over time, but they're in the corners. The newest feature of kind of like the slow and speed zones, and even the neutral missile turrets, which everyone kind of hated, so we never added to the game. But the healing shrines, mostly for the harassing units from Protoss and Zerg especially, to be able to heal up. Though, in what I've seen of these new maps and the new TLMC maps, as we've seen already in the chat, the first time and possibly last time pro players look at them, especially if they don't get added to the ladder, is this match. So that adds to the fun, I think. I really don't know if Bly had ever looked at that map before. He just was like, yep, proxy hatch. And now on this map, he's like, yep, bunch of Zerglings. The Adept's about to pop out. That's not a wall behind it, right? Like, he just gets in. Yeah. The main base looks super cool. I do love it. Like, just the look of the map is amazing. This is one of my favorites of the TLMC. Bly behind this. He does have gas. 150. He decides to start Zergling speed. So the Zerglings aren't going to end the game. They're certainly going to make it interesting. They'll get a full scout. Not that that really says anything at this stage. There's nothing to scout. Bly found the Rich Vespi. Didn't take long. And that can easily springboard into some sort of early all-in. Adept Shades in towards the natural. Stargate behind, nice, trying to bring some semblance of sanity back. Bly, he's got enough Zerglings to be a threat to the Adepts. Overlord, sauntering in. Void Ray is the choice. Interesting. We'll go for the safer, but still kind of out in front, standard third base. The Zerglings. Oh, shield battery saves the day, but kind of gives away the third Nexus there. And 10 more Lings on the way for Bly. But the Adepts are coming in again. And, well, the drones. Stop right there, criminal scum! The Adept's actually getting caught up. I think he was busy worrying about the other side of the map. Does end up killing, actually, 4 or 5 drones. So I take it back. Bly? Oh, no. 5 drones is more than enough for 2 Adepts at this stage to justify their presence. Like, if it was later on, like 50 drones, killing 5 of them. But when they're under 40, like, the economy hasn't really spun up yet. That is a significant impact on that early economy. Okay, well, it is a wall, so we did figure that one out. But he's going to go for the half rocks. Another base attempted. There's an Oracle and a Void Ray hanging out, so that should be enough. But the bases, I mean, the Queens, they can. You can see Protoss from your house. I would be surprised if Bly doesn't do a queen-based attack. Is that... Like, that would be the weird part here. Alright, and here comes the creep. Creep can spread underwater. Yes. Yes, Lucille. It does spread underwater. I told you. I told you. It's hydrophobic, not hydrophobic. Oh, Oracles come in. And get a couple more. We'll see if any Ravagers are morphed, but shield batteries on the way. As a single Void Ray and some cannons being added on. The Queens will march. And some Ravagers coming up because it's time for some corrosive Bliles. The Queens, yeah, the creep spread is already working its way up the ramp. This isn't even like a soul stroll here. This is just kind of going outside and looking at what's happening on your front lawn. There just happens to be an Nexus there. And, well, the Queens say, get off my creep! To which Nice, I'm sure, is unhappy, is already here. But, putting up together more cannons. The Ravagers starting to work their way through. I think he's going to go for it. Well, he's been going for the pylons. But more pylons added on behind. The static defense is growing. A fortress of cannons gonna try to knock through one of them. The queen's a little bit... Technically, there's not creep here yet. They can't transfuse. Still working on it, though. The Nexus itself taking a lot of damage. Is their shield battery overcharged? Still about 20 seconds out. Working through the cannons, but the oracles and the shield batteries gaining enough energy, but there's no more cannons. With no more cannons here, it's just the Void Ray, whatever gateway units he's able to warp in. A Spore Crawler is involved. Everybody, come on. Yeah, come on out. Come on out, Robbie. He's gonna root. Shield battery overcharge saves a Stalker, though. The Queen's forced to retreat. And by that, I mean reposition behind Robbie the Spore Crawler. Trying to rob Nice of his chances in this series. Speaking of which, Jimmy, give him a point. Sorry. Impossible to find good help nowadays. Like and subscribe so we can actually pay them. The shield batteries continue to grow. The Nexus is still intact, and I think it's more of a matter of principle here than something he's actually going to be mining from anytime soon. Bly will continue building the Ravagers. He's lost 6 already, but he's going to replace them with 6 more. Already has a couple on the field. And what is this? 9 oracles? The Spore Crawler is out in the middle of everything. The shield battery count. Oh my. The corrosive Bliles are coming through, but there's so many shield batteries, he can't really focus on anything. Trying to burn through with the oracles. Shield battery overcharge. Is there blink? No, of course not. You can't go blink when you're spending a blink upgrade worth on oracles every 3 seconds. So now, awkwardly, there's like 10 shield batteries and several cannons in a base that doesn't exist. And a Spore Crawler is helping to zone out the extra oracles here. Gonna knock out the cannon. The Bliles just chunking their way through. Has more than enough to take down any of these buildings in a single volley. Couple more cannons at the back, but looks for a triple, almost gets it. Oracles, and you can't use overcharge with no Nexus. Burning through, sprays out more Bliles. Not enough. The Queen's about to take down the Void Ray, but it retreats just in time. What a save! But the Bliles again, still working through the shield batteries. Nice is expanded, though, to the southern side. As holding this position has been costly. But Bly only has 46 drones. He's building 15 Hydralisks now. The Oracle count, he's lost 7, but he has 7 on the field, and he's still building 2 at a time. He's working with what he has, and what he has are Oracles. And shield batteries, and cannons. And now a fleet beacon, but otherwise pretty much nothing. 2 gates just warping in whatever Stalkers. Bly does have a 4th base, but I think it would be a mistake for Nice to try to light it up. And here come the Oracles. We'll spot the Hydras. And this time around, there's no Colossi, there's no Storm. Oh. The Ravager's caught out. We'll snipe off some. Might be able to deal with the creep, but the Fortress is continuing to go. He's just slapping down more batteries and cannons. Multiple stasises, but that won't solve the problem, just delay it. And really, there's no reason why Bly can't start working his way through here. Not the rocks, but the batteries. As the Hydras, another game where there's absolutely no basic upgrades for either player. We're 11 minutes in, and +1 Protoss air weapons is the first upgrade to enter production. So at least it's consistent, but he tries to burn his way through. I don't know how far out he can get a shield battery overcharge. There should be at least 1 or 2 closer. A Tempest! The Tempests are the choice. You know what? Probably a smart one with that many shield batteries. Guaranteed damage and plenty of range. But depowers some more batteries. Just shrugging off the Tempest shots. Bly still taking a lot of... He's taking a lot of damage while he's doing this. But he has some... Well, he only has only 50 drones, so... Still kind of all in on this composition. The Bliles come through, snipe off another cannon. More static defense. Targets down the oracles. Just ping-cushing them right now. The Ravagers are not enough, though. Shield battery overcharge and the Tempest count is really starting to grow. Oh, almost types out. Even the Overlords are getting in on the action. I'm sure that's a sign of stress as opposed to a tactical move, though. 12 minutes in, and no closer to a real conclusion. It seems like Nice is kind of solidifying his position, but without the shield batteries to back him up, there's no chance of fighting the Hydras on the field. The batteries are the only thing. And he's had how many of them? 12. A mothership is on the way. Yeah, how about those healing shrines, though? I'm not sure either player knows they exist. And even if they did, would they acknowledge them? Coming up the center, Hydras and Lings to the north side. I think Blige is making sure. The mothership is on the way, but guess what? There's no cannons on the left side. The probes are completely vulnerable. The mothership is on the way. He may have to just overcharge his own base. Pats it on the back. Throws up the corrosive bliles. And takes out an oracle. Zerglings and Hydras just in the natural where there's no defenses at all. He can't uproot those shield batteries and move them back home. 18, 22 probes. He cannot afford these losses. That is way too many probes lost here. Gonna kill some more of the oracles. He might even be able to just take out the Nexus. Right-clicking on it. Not gonna be enough. A bit of a mistake. Missed opportunity to kill more probes there. But Nice's economy has been shattered, and it was brittle as it was. All right. The only chance now is to take up the shards of glass that are his economy and shiv Bly with them, with some sort of like massive recall or something to kind of turn the tide, because Bly now has made it's gone from a back and forth tug of war to Bly tightening the noose, as at the moment 68 to 41 workers. Nice is on a very tenuous and very technical 3 bases, but barely has the economy for 2. And then he's running directly in to all of the static defense again, so that's not as good. He does that a few dozen more times. Bly is determined to lose at least twice as many minerals as Nice in every game of this series. Win or lose. So far, he's only about 30% ahead, so those are rookie numbers right there. And that's only because he killed so many cannons and batteries. Those rocks look weird. I'm not one to judge, but like... kind of an odd angle for him. So, just straight to Sky Toss. Do not pass go. Do not collect more than 200 minerals, except to build a mothership or another Nexus. And straight to carriers. And Bly does not have a Spire. So... that does mean, eventually, we're going to be in that don't let them get 12 carrier situation. Now, that force field was very close to being perfect. The spot cloaking from the mothership. Kind of very awkward fight here, to say the least. Hydra's trying to come in again, but the labyrinth of shield batteries and cannons continue to make it difficult. But wandering out from it, we'll lose a few more. The main base has Zerglings in it, but there's nothing else there. The main base, like, it's like a placeholder. There's a pylon and some mined out gas geysers. It looks so weird. It's like this is like seeing your teacher outside of class. All right, this main base. It's like, I thought you always wore minerals. Some of us just have our Vespine exhausted, all right? It's been a long year. It's been 16 minutes. I know what I said. Time Warp does things. Chrono Boost. Well, that gas gather still has 130 gas if he wants to go get it at some point. Nice is supply blocked. Somehow. I assume he lost a pylon somewhere in there. Well, he's lost a lot more than one pylon, but the idea stands. Zergling's trying to come in. Bly still very against the idea of building corruptors. We'll try some Vipers here. And that is a more than capable unit composition, but at the same time, we always got to go back to the don't let them get 12 carriers situation. And right now, Nice doesn't have 12 carriers. He has 6 carriers. So, a bit more manageable. But, well, this base, the focal point. Time warp! And the Hydras are driven back for now. The Zerglings. Now, okay. Lie. My brother and Zerg. What do you think those Zerglings are going to accomplish? Well, if he didn't have a wall at the natural, maybe he gets in. But trying to do Zergling run-bys against someone with more cannons than carriers is probably optimistic. He's just checking if Nice is it's an F2 check, essentially. Every time he comes in, if Nice happened to move that star card of position, he might lose the game. If he didn't, the game will continue. That's where we are. Changeling comes in. Changeling goes out. You can't explain that. Bly has 64 drones. Massive macro game. Here come the Vipers. But there are some Templar at a very opportune timing. The Vipers are just kind of killing. Well, if there was ever a time to pull down Mama Ship, it's now. Get over here. We'll take it down. Bit unceremonious. Queens out in front. And Nice can't really afford to rebuild the interceptors. 21 more Hydralisks on the way. Because of course there are. And an Ultralisk Cavern. Alright, if it ain't Lisks or Lings, I don't want it. Maybe Roaches and Ravagers sometimes, but that doesn't... Like, those are effectively the same. They should be called Roachlings. Hydra's still looking around. Storm is not done. Bly doesn't know that, and I'm not sure he cares. The Banelings are boxed out. The carriers, though. Storm is 2-1 seconds. God, he's just fighting the interceptors. Bly has 2-1, so his upgrades are good. He's literally fighting the economic battle against the interceptors. He's really working on that double minerals lost. He's getting there. What was that? Was that a change? No, there's just Zerglings running around. Another mothership on the way. Nice, with a very brave sentry out in front. Gonna pop off a couple more. Those Tempests help you out a lot. Guaranteed damage. The Templar here as well. Supplies uncomfortably close to even. Bly may have overstayed his welcome. And by that I mean he's been on the other side of the map for like the better part, pretty much all of the 20 minutes of this game, so. Finally, Nice has had enough. Yanks out one carrier, but loses the Viper. Now there are Ultras on the way. The Ultras explicitly to tank the interceptor fire and just chop apart the High Templar. So that way the Hydras can do the rest. Once again, we've been dragged. Kicking and screaming, at least psionically screaming for Protoss, to something resembling the late game. And once again, it's unclear whether the Ultras will be the choice. I think Bly's in a slightly better position than the previous game at approximately this time, but that doesn't really mean... In fact, that might be worse. 10 carriers. Bly doesn't believe in chitinous plating. Nor ultra speed. But he's come around. He took a moment, some introspection for the first time, and said, you know what? I'd rather my ultras tank approximately like 40% more hits from the interceptors. Because chitinous plating does a lot against interceptors. Maybe not against immortals. But the interceptors on the other hand. Banelings rolling in. Bly knows what he likes. And he's willing to die trying it. Ultras to the north side. Nice Warpian Stalkers, which is a nice gesture. But a gesture is all it is, as the Ultras will easily chop through it. Shield battery overcharges nothing. Mothership Cloak is actually something, which is definitely an odd thing at this fight, but he wandered into the Hydras! The Mothership wandered out, and without the Mothership to herd the sheep. Well, the Ultras are underneath. The Interceptors are dying. The Ultras, the Kindness Plating is not done. 5 seconds away from both important upgrades here. And now Bly's army will evaporate to the storms. He wasn't able to kill the Templar, but the Cloak ran out, and now the Probes will be slaughtered yet again. Oh no. The Zerglings actually shove the Archons out of the way as they're merging. The Mothership is mass recalling the Templar Archives in the placeholder-looking main. And Bly is now even on supply. He will build more Ultras and Zerglings. There are still dying carriers in 4 Tempests, as well as 5 Templar. I believe he killed the Templar Archives, which means if he does manage to kill these Templar... Oh my. He's just targeting the Nexus. Shield battery overcharges nothing in the face of this Hydra power. Nice, forced almost all in here, as you do need the income to support continued interceptor production, just to keep the carriers going. 22 probes left. I'm not even sure he has enough mineral patches to justify that many, but ideally he would have more. Bly, don't base trade against the man with 20 cannons. There's only 7 cannons, but still. Oh, might get a carrier. Does. But the rest of the carriers, Bly is incredibly supply blocked. The Overlord meeting spot was absolutely slaughtered. Bly's at 144 over 54 supply. And now's the time. Does he have Overseers? He does. Very important. Banelings rolling in. One big storm, but all the Templar are dead. And so are all the Hydras. Not again! It's a disaster. What have you done? Well, consistency is key. And Bly has again stuck to his principles, and his principles have gotten him killed. But... we're not done. We're going to a map that looks crazy even on the thumbnail. It has neutral spawning pools. What? Okay, there's a little tip here. There are several neutering spawn... Oh, they slowly lose health as long as they are off creep and die on their own. Ah, so this is the newest version of the Zerg walls. There's that we're using. So essentially, it's like rocks that die on their own. So like spawning pools off creep is what we're using for it. Though, I think there's like an official version of it coming up in the near future, but all right. So there's also mineral walls there. So we'll see. Unfortunately, the Zerg can't use those as their spawning pools. God. The lighting is quite interesting here as well on Silver Flame. I guess accurate then. Not sure what's going... I think we have... I think that's an observer bug. Like it's trying to recognize these as a player's spawning pools, but no one owns them. Don't worry, when they're dead, we won't care. Stargate on the way? Somewhat amusingly, well, the map is just so massive. You can kind of just tell by the size of the bases on the minimap. You can tell by the way it is. Isn't that neat? But yeah. Some bridges here. Definitely the most... It sort of reminds me of like a World of Warcraft zone. What is it? The good expand... The Burning Crusade. Which is when I played World of Warcraft, much to my dismay. No, I liked it. Eventually played Arena. And eventually my Arena partners got me into StarCraft 2. And here we are today. Like and subscribe. Resto Druid and Frost Mage. Never melee because my computer was so bad that I couldn't reliably stay in melee range with anything. So, but even today, now that my computer is less bad, I still would pick the same ones. I don't like melee classes. Speaking of melee, the Zerglings are helping the spawning pools along. Wait. If they die, do they have neutral broodlings? Also, is Nice about to just lose? Okay, the broodlings don't fight. No, like, oh. Nice is like, excuse me, what is this? Well, not sure exactly what... Nice with a remarkable level of not typing angry things in the chat in broken English or otherwise. But I am going to go ahead and say this might not be the ideal map design if we're considering Protoss players living past the Zerg rush phase. Considering the mineral wall doesn't actually wall. But it is kind of hilariously imbalanced. And for those who are wondering why we don't have 4-player maps nowadays, this is part of the reason why. It isn't... Yep. GG! It isn't so much that they're imbalanced, it's that if a Protoss doesn't scout in time, and now 4-player maps didn't have some weird backdoor made out of spawning pools, okay? But it's just Protoss more than any other race gets absolutely and utterly screwed by kind of odd maps or seeing things late. Because you can't float your buildings, you can't repair your wall, okay? And you can't build Zerglings to counter. So, what that means is that Protoss has a real tough time if they're even a few seconds late on anything, as we saw here. And that puts Bly on the board, technically. He's also found a gold base here on Twilight Imperium. Nice is looking around. The drones are gonna, well, the drones were already, he already spotted the base, but I'm sure he looked through the minimap, he's like, oh no, I know where he went. Great timing on those drones over here. We got some, like, reeds and stuff. What am I saying? Over here. Ah, and you see the drones mining next to the reeds. Yes, next to the location where Terrans will siege up their tanks and make the Protoss and the Zerg very sad, just like they've been doing for 26 years. Bly with significantly less Zerglings in production than the last game, but that might not continue. Overlord hanging out. As it does. This map has a healing shrine down the center here, it looks like. And another one over to the southern side. We may accidentally see the healing shrine used. For the first time on any of these maps. I don't think a single attempt was made. Maybe accidentally on Anomaly found, but... Stargate's on the way. The Zerglings do get in. The Adept will politely yet firmly murder them for not leaving. Very, like, there's like a weird perspective going on here. That healing shrine. It does seem like a trap there. Seems like one of those places you'd save the game. Like, you walk into that in a campaign mission, you save the game. Alright, you know what I'm talking about. And don't lie, save scum. Oh, come on. Alright. If I'm playing PvE, I'm actually pretending. In my advanced age. Alright. Sometimes I do enjoy having fun. I know. I've heard that people play games for fun. I'm testing it out. I'm not sure so far, but... That is so dark and depressing as well. I will say. Not exactly a fan. It makes me kind of, I haven't been playing too many ARPGs, but... Makes me sad. I think it's just the color palette. I'm a real sucker for great looking maps though. I don't care what the layout is, as long as like they look great. But this one is really nailing the I have to get up for class in like an hour, but it's still dark outside. It's so early in the morning feel. I haven't had to get up for class for quite a long time. But somehow we're brought back to it. Oh, we were talking about WoW, I think. Well, the Zerglings found the third. Ah, yes, the not-so-good old days. The Zerglings now looking to get through the natural. Lair's on the way. Nice hasn't found too much. Oracles will head in towards the mineral line. There's a spore, but the queen's on the wrong side of the hatchery. It actually will be burnt out, freeing up the oracles to kill some of the drones. No. And defending the third. Oracle's pushed away. There is spotted, most importantly. Another oracle headed out. How many? 4 oracles. Wow. I think he just keeps building them until Bly stops building Zerglings. Which might be never. Ooh, beautiful block there. I think they will get the probe. But did his best to prevent it. Roach speed on the way. The 4 oracles on the way across as well. I think he can burn through the spore. Does he bother? Just gonna melt all the drones. Solid micro there on the oracles. And Robo Bay and second robotics facility in production. 4 nice. So he's going to have the answer to the roaches. Or at least, assuming Bly goes down that route. Which the Spire in production says otherwise. Likely Mutas instead. A bit of a mind game as well. We'll see if the queens are able to keep the oracles away. Losing so many drones. Oh my god. 19 drones dead. Brenda, come back up. Does nobody build creep tumors anymore? Bly has 900 gas in the bank. He's only halfway done with the Spire. He's going to have like 1,500 at this rate. A conspicuous amount of gas being mined. But no phoenixes in production. Nice has convinced himself this is going to be a mass roach. He's not really thinking of it. The observer is in the main as well, but it doesn't see anything. Templar archives. The oracles are coming through. Oh my god, he's so close. And, oh my. It's an absolute disaster. He starts, it's too obvious now. The fact he's not building anything, he has all this gas, starts a Phoenix, but there are already 14 mutas in production alongside plus 1 air weapons. So, that is a deadly amount. One Phoenix is not going to be able to bat that away. One Phoenix is just going to get swarmed. I bet Bly will go for Corruptors as well, if he sees Phoenixes challenging it. Like, this is not the sort of Mutaplay that you just kind of like, oh, I guess he's got Phoenixes. No. This is not a road we're detouring from. We're just going to accelerate. And the Mutas heading towards the main. Shield battery overcharge already. Wow. Just taking down the Stalkers. They don't get reshielded while they're warping in. Actually, a very capable defense thus far. Still so many Mutas, though. Depower several gates. No hope of blink. Overcharges run out. One Phoenix blinking away. The Oracle just hotkeyed in with it. Just building so many Mutas. He's willing to lose 2 or 3 Mutas a minute because he's building 8 or 9. Knocks another Phoenix out of the sky. And Nice just doesn't have any anti-air. This may be just checkmate right now. And indeed it is. The Mutas just kind of win. Well, I'm glad we didn't go to like a 38-minute game on that map. I'll be honest. The next map doesn't actually, the Decider doesn't really inspire confidence in the happy nature of the map either. Insomniac Doze. Are you, map makers, are you okay? They're like, well, the intern, okay, you know what? I already knew the answer to that. Map makers are some of the most passionate people and most committed people in the community. And also, disproportionately, the most punished for that passion. One, if you're a new map maker, there's about 178 different rules you have to follow. You got to make sure the minerals are yay distance away from the back of the base so the Liberators don't win the game. And also the minerals have to be laid out in a certain way. There's no creativity there. That you have to get your ruler out and make sure the space at the ramp is the right size, so that way Protoss players don't auto-lose half their games. They only auto-lose against Terran. And then, past that, well, you have to have a third base at a certain distance, otherwise you're just going to NG-Bay block. So you have to follow all these rules. And then, on top of that, like if you do end up making a standard board map, either people are going to say, hey, this is boring, it's a copy-paste of the maps that are the only maps that pro gamers won't veto. Or, alternatively, it'll be good, original, it'll do well, and never get added to the game, because, like, 4 new maps get added once a quarter, despite dozens, if not hundreds, of potentially game-ready or near-game-ready maps being made. So, what I want to say is, map makers, I wish we could support them more, and I'm glad to show off. But also, Twilight Imperium and Insomniac Doze. Though this map doesn't look nearly as depressing. It looks like the Moopies are over here messing with alien technology, which, you know, isn't too different than Terrans just pulling up artifacts out of the ground and saying, I don't know, what if we mess around with this for a while? Maybe it'll do exactly what we want it to do. Or everyone will die, and so will the universe. It's like, well, I don't know. I gotta... I'm 50-50. All right, flip a coin, Jimmy. But these two, this series has been... What I enjoy is... Now, the players, both of them are clearly amazing. Incredible StarCraft 2 players. And this isn't hedging. They're both also so willing to go to these crazy games that we just go off the deep end. And we never come back up for air. Okay, the first 2 games was Bly dragging Nice down, and Nice saying, all right. And then there was that spawning pool game, and then we had Mutas, but now we're evened up. And so far, the most standard-ish opener, besides the fact Bly just took like this mixed base over here. It's got a rich Vespene, it's got a few rich mineral patches, but it also has some blue patches as well, so just mixing things up a bit. I like it. Has he just hardwalled it? Oh. He may not have scouted this until now. That's why I was too busy pontificating over there about map makers and passion and all those boring things. And Nice was too busy panicking about a bunch of Zerglings that didn't exist. Brenda, get back! Brenda. Speaking of, well, the Oracle just kills about 1/3 of the queens. The warp gates are opening up. A lair's on the way, a conspicuous one at that. What is going on in here? The Moopies have a ghost trapped. Can we harness this? Can the Protoss harness this technology? Because clearly, they're doing better than the Protoss at dealing with the ghosts so far. Meanwhile, Nice has designated exactly one adept to kill this pylon and unlock his base. The others will stand by in a typical group project. Unfortunately, one of the oracles ran out of energy. He's building Evo chambers to make sure the oracles can't actually... Yeah, these are not for upgrades. Bly would never go for upgrades this early. Right? Okay, he cancels that. Nice actually gets his third base severely delayed by his panic against the early Zerglings. But, and now the Lings, well, it is a wall. It is a wall. Of sorts. I've got to kind of... Okay, I was zoning out after... Wow, it's been over an hour. Feels like both 3 hours and 14 minutes. No, not 3 hours, 14 minutes. But instead, like a 14-minute game. Because some of these games, the games are just not getting to that late game stage. Even the Carrier versus Hydra wasn't like back and forth for 30 minutes, but instead just kind of slowly dragged its way there until the inevitable. There are glaive adepts, but they're not really for an all-out attack timing, though he's going to finally put them together now. Usually the moment glaives finish, you want to be across the map, but Nice was making sure Zerglings didn't sneak into his base. And, well, has to go through the entire checkpoint here. There are Hydras on the way, which are not known for their effectiveness against glaive adepts, but Hydra's pretty good against Void Rays and Oracles. The adepts on top. I don't know if that's where you want to put your drones. He does go to the gas gas. It loses 8 drones so far. Bly doesn't really have that many workers to lose. The Hydra's trying to intercept on the way out, but the glaive adepts will isolate some of the Hydras and be able to take them out. So Nice with a nice move here indeed. And should come out on top of this exchange, despite losing most of those adepts. As Bly's down to 36 workers. He's making a few dozen more Zerglings. But, in an odd turn of events, the actual counter to everything Bly is doing is indeed Glaved Adepts. But Banelings, of course, can change that equation. Oh no, that shade is very awkwardly done. He manages to get by. The Banelings are morphing. Creep is dropping across the board from the Overlords. Oracle's trying to come into this base. Baneling should be spotted, but he might be microing the Overlords, and that could be a mistake! Oh, the Oracles, rather. He was microing the Oracles, and the Banelings connect! Oh, no! And again, the turntables have turned, and DJ Bly looking much more fly than he did just a moment ago. He's able to turn it around, and those Banelings spry enough in order to catch the Adepts. And I'm sure Nice letting out a quick sigh before he realizes his Adepts are going to die. Well, now it's just pure gateway. Oh, he has charge done. But the Banelings, force field. Yeah, the shield battery's helpful. Banelings, some of them got through. Shield battery overcharge. The force fields, like a sieve here. And he depowers the batteries. Bly is doing it. He gets onto the mineral on GG. Oh my god! What a disaster piece of a series! Of all the games, of all the series I have ever cast, that was certainly one of them. As Bly turns 3 games in a reverse sweep. And did he have a little help on that spawning pool map? But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Because he is the victor. Nice. Well, probably not super hyped about that, but definitely an unpredictable series, possibly the most unpredictable series, even including Dark versus Hero, that I've seen in quite a while. And I'm glad I was able to see it. I know it's been a little bit since these games were played, if you actually managed to catch the TLMC live. But I somehow missed this series, and I'm very glad because it's been a little while since we've seen something quite like it. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope it made your day a little bit better. And if you got the means of motivation, it'd be awesome to check out Patreon or YouTube membership. But liking and subscribing is free, at least for now. And if you haven't yet checked out the second channel for streams and more content, more ways to fill the day, make it a little bit better, you can check it out in the description, or Winter Gaming TV. Yeah, we're doing that with it. Or if you're looking for more casts, just check out recommended. That helps out the most, hitting that from the suggested videos or that whatever that bullshit is. Anyways, thank you for watching. I hope I made your day a little bit better. I'll see you next time. Good luck. Have fun. Stay tuned.